You're watching Hammerhand, the MGTOW Monk.
You know what I find to be interesting, funny, but not funny ha-ha. Funny is an ironic, hypocritical funny. You have, I won't say dozens, I'll say more like millions of women, men, officials that revile and despise the idea of a sex apparatus for a man, a doll, something of the like, right? It's all kinds of ismy, phobia, right? Oh, it teaches men to be rapists. Oh, but the doll can't give its consent. That's what they say about that. They say it's disgusting. They say it's filthy. They say it's degenerate behavior. But in the same breath, they'll encourage you to go out and get a bag full of dildos and stick them in your closet. Woman power, you know. Rah, rah, all that good shit. The double standard being not that sexuality is embraced and praised, that it empowers females, but that it does the exact opposite for men. And now there's a show out called Wanda Vision, where she has reanimated the corpse of her not living life partner. Pretty interesting shit. So far, through 5 episodes, you kind of get the idea that she's having a psychotic break, that she can't deal with the facts of her life. She can't deal with the fact that her brother, Pietro, has been killed by Ultron. She can't deal with the fact that Vision, in one hell of a crazy maneuver, was killed by her in order to prevent masses of life from being extinguished. And it didn't help. He was killed anyways. And he's not coming back. Unless they pull some of that good old Marvel bullshit and bring him back, right? Oh, god damn. Been a long day. But I've watched episodes 1 through 5 of Wanda Vision. I think it's muddled. It's not very interesting. All it does is deal with the female drama of having murdered your robot lover, which isn't a real loss at all, right? Because you're talking about algorithms. You're talking about things that were put together for programmed responses, artificial intelligence. But if you flip the script and you put this on men, and men were talking about their sex doll being killed, all of a sudden they're perverts and degenerates. Well, I think the Scarlet Witch is a pervert and a degenerate for parading around a dead former lover that never actually was real. Her sex doll. Something that gave her mental stability. The irony is dripping wet. Dripping. Pardon the pun. I don't know where they're going with this Wanda Vision series. I don't know what they're attempting to do. I don't know if they're attempting to make her more of a human, if they're trying to make her more relatable. You know how the SJWs say it, right? Don't normalize them. Especially if we disagree with them. Got to dehumanize everything around you if you disagree with it, according to them. I think that that's interesting shit. I really do. I think it's incredible how the sex doll industry for men is so hated and reviled by females, by feminists, by politicians. And you know that it's hated by politicians, boy. You know they can't stand that idea. And then on the flip side of that same token, if you put a few emotions into it and you relate it to a woman losing her sex doll, oh, you know. Remember a few months ago when that dumbass show that was fronted by that streaming service Quibi came out? And it was the broad that found out that her, you know, normal, everyday kind of lover guy had a sex doll, right? And she made friends with the sex doll. And they went on girl power trips. And then the whole fucking streaming service went bankrupt. Remember that? I remember that. Projection be thy name. I don't think that the Wanda Vision thing, unless they change course, is going to get any better than it is now. You kind of knew with The Mandalorian that you had a diamond in the rough, almost from the get-go. There were a couple of moments where it's like, oh, I don't know, why did they... And then they cleared it up. And it was easy. It was an easy clear-up. The Mandalorian has become a monster success, a monster hit, but not because of the people at Lucasfilm. I realize that Filoni and Favreau are affiliated with Lucasfilm, but they're affiliated more with George Lucas than they are Lucasfilm, which is unfortunate. It's unsavory. It's silly. It's dumb. It's dumb that these things are happening right now in entertainment all over the goddamn world, in every facet, in every bracket. It's just dumb. I don't have high hopes for this Wanda Vision thing. I'm not really interested in the pedantic ravings of a female and her psychobabble excuses for why she can't adapt to life and what life is. They tell you right there in the series, well, she would have defeated Thanos single-handedly if it hadn't been for such and such. And then Captain Marvel could have defeated Thanos single-handedly if it hadn't been for such and such. You know, next it'll be Batwoman that can defeat Thanos single-handedly if it hadn't been for such and such. You know where you are at right now, guys. And this is another thing that I talk about when the Super Bowl came up, the SJW Bowl. When it came up, it flies directly in the face of these people's reality. Directly in the face of these people's reality. You know, Tom Brady's white privilege. You know what I'm saying? He's got all that white privilege, man. That white privilege didn't go play the game. The white privilege didn't learn the calls. The white privilege didn't give him 20 years of hard knocks and experience. He did. It just depends on how much you want to put into it. And then you can take that same philosophy and run it right back to entertainment today. Entertainment today stinks. And it stinks for reasons. It's not like it just fell out of the fucking sky and started smelling up the show. That's not what happened. Hollyweird and all of the people that depend on Hollyweird all throughout the country and all throughout the world changed their philosophy on making films. Plain and simple. Gang, I'm sorry to tell you that outliers like The Mandalorian are going to be rare. Are there going to be series that you can enjoy? I think so, sure. Are there going to be a lot of series out here now being made with identity politics, with a whole bunch of nonsense just loaded right into it? You better know that shit's coming. The Oscars revamp all of their criteria for judging films. If you don't have X amount of POC on your film crew, you can't get an Oscar. Huh. So, is Wanda Vision worth watching? I mean, unless it gets a lot better fast, I would say no. It's not worth watching. Is it kind of neat to see the film actors on TV, on the television? Yeah, that's kind of cool. I thought that they should have always done that. It was just very confusing to try to see the same timelines portrayed by different actors on the big screen and on television. There should have never been anything other than total integration. That's how you make that work. That's how you give it credibility. That's how you increase the longevity of the product. You see? Is it a lot too much to ask from actors and actresses? I guess maybe it is. Sometimes. Who knows? I am not one of them. I don't know. Things aren't going to get better in the entertainment sphere. They're not. They're not. These people don't care anymore. And I said this a long, long time ago, and I've said it many times. The motivation for these people now, their bottom line isn't the dollar. It is not making money. Their motivation is to switch your culture, is to obliterate your culture, is to gaslight you into a different reality. That is what their motivations are now with these television shows. Some of them can be pretty goddamn wholesome, i.e. Luke Skywalker showing up at the end of season 2 of The Mandalorian. Pretty goddamn wholesome. The reactions that you were seeing, if you're like me, every once in a while, I'll go on and I'll watch reactors reacting to stuff, you know. It's a whole little cottage industry on YouTube. And I'll see these folks and their reactions, and I watch them because I like to see if people look, act, and feel the same way that I do about certain things. It makes it entertaining for me. It's a form of entertainment. I mean, whether anybody likes that or not, it is. Do I think it's kind of silly? Yeah, I think it's kind of silly, but it's fun. It's fun. Like Ultraman was fucking stupid, but it was fun. It's a guilty pleasure, right? It's very interesting to me to see that. And the reactions that these folks were having over the reappearance of Luke Skywalker was very, very telling. Whites, blacks, men, women, Asians, English, American, Chinese, Japanese, it didn't make any fucking difference where you were from. The reaction was the same. I have not seen anybody that looked at it and said, and to be frank with you, if I had seen that, I would have dismissed it because I know where that's coming from. The reemergence of Luke Skywalker, the science fiction white granddaddy, you know, is something that is hated by these people. The continuation of the Tom Brady white legacy is something that's hated by these people. They are self-loathers. They hate themselves. And they want you to hate yourself too. They don't want you to be proud of anything that you've done. They don't want you to hoist your achievements high in the air for all to see, to motivate, to inspire. They don't want that, especially from a white man. And don't get me wrong, this isn't a rant on race. All this is just kind of calling out what's already there, and you already know that. Wanda Vision, episodes 1 through 5. Episodes 1 and 2 were completely useless. Couldn't stand them. As a matter of fact, it kind of felt like a slap in the face. If you're as old a motherfucker as I am, it felt like a slap in the face. It felt like they were mocking your television shows from the 1950s and the 1960s and the 40s. And I did not get a good sense out of that. It seemed like utter contempt. And it was just put in the show. Does it have identity politics in it? Not really. Not that I can see, which that's a plus. That's always a huge plus. Are they trying to introduce new characters? Yes. Monica Rambeau is one. That's not a bad deal. But Monica Rambeau would have never come about if it hadn't been for fan pressure. That would have never happened. That wouldn't have happened. Interesting stuff. Cool shit. But boring shit. Yeah, episodes 1 and 2, I didn't like at all. You started to get some insight in 3 and 4 and 5. So if we can manage to get out of the idiotic town that she has, spoilers, by the way, that she has created by herself, for her fake fictional life with her dead robot lover, I think it could be a good series. I think it could be. But the premise for this series, I do not like. I do not like. So we'll see where it goes. I'm actually dreading doing any further reviews on this Wanda Vision shit. But we'll see where it goes and we see how it goes.
You're watching Hammerhand, the MGTOW Monk.